The NASCAR Campbell Truck Series heads to Bristol Motor Speedway for the Bristol Dirt Race, and we see one regular driver pick up the victory here at Bristol Dirt. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the NASCAR Campbell Truck Series race from Bristol Dirt, the Penny's Dirt Truck Race. We're going to go ahead and talk about this race. So, we're going to first go ahead and talk about the heat races that happened. So, in heat number 1, it was really pretty much a straightforward race. There was a lot of mud issues. Austin Dillon will hold on and dominate and would win heat number 1. A couple trucks would have to go off the track. Unfortunately, the 51 truck of Buddy Kofoid, and also I believe Tanner Gray would also have to go off the track, meaning that they would go fall off the track, but luckily those guys were able to still race. Then in heat number 2, Ty Majeski led the field to the green and pretty much dominated and led every single lap in the heat, and we see Ty Majeski win heat number 2. In heat number 3, Casgrove would actually start on the pole. We saw Grant Enfinger able to get the lead. Hailie Deegan would bring out really the only caution of the heats in the truck series. She would spin out bringing out the caution from around 6th position, and Grant Enfinger basically had us back to the green. And then Joey Logano got around Grant Enfinger with around 5 laps to go, and he would go on to win heat number 3. Then the final heat of this race, Dean Thompson would lead the field to the green with Chandler Smith on the outside. Chandler Smith would be able to get the race lane. He would dominate and win heat number 4 of this race. Before the green flag drop into this race, we saw Hailie Deegan go to the rear for a backup. A 49 car would also go to rear, Andrew Gordon being for unapproved adjustments. So at the start of the race, had Joey Logano lead from the inside and outside, and Ben Rhodes on the inside, and Ben Rhodes able to get around Joey Logano for the lead and would dominate the early portion of this race. The first caution race would come out for the 49 Andrew Gordon, who spun off a turn number 4. He's actually having a pretty decent run in 26th position, but spun out from turn 4, bringing out the first yellow of this race. The 24 car during this time would also come down pit road. I'm not sure. I think it may have been overheating. They tried to put some fluid back in the truck. They would come down pit road during the caution. We also see Austin Dillon come down pit road as well. So on the restart, Ben Rhodes lead from the outside, and Joey Logano on the inside. And we saw Ben Rhodes keep the lead, and Joey Logano get passed by Ty Majeski for second. Then it became a battle looked like between Ben Rhodes and Ty Majeski. And coming off the corner, we would see the 99 truck. Well, we see another caution come out for the 16 truck, who spun out with a flat tire as well. And Ben Rhodes would actually win the stage as well during that time. So back on the restart in lap 42, because of course all the trucks would come down pit road. Well, before that, they did have the mandatory pit stops, of course. And we basically saw most of the leaders decide to come down pit road at the time, right? We'd see a lot of leaders decide to come down pit road. Meanwhile, Ben Rhodes, Ty Majeski, I think it was Ben Rhodes, Ty Majeski, and I think it was Austin Wayne himself, and I think Hailie Deegan or someone else also stayed out during that caution. They really questioned why they decided to stay out, and they were really frustrated. They felt like they absolutely made a mistake right there. So they decided to stay out, unfortunately. But luckily for them, it really didn't become a major problem for them, because like I said, they were able to stay out and really not have any major issues right there. So they were able to continue to stay out, but it was really a big mistake by Ben Rhodes, we thought was going to cost them. So on the restart, Ben Rhodes lead the field back from the outside with Ty Majeski on the inside, and we saw Ben Rhodes keep the leading. It became really a battle between those two, between Ty Majeski and Ben Rhodes during the second half of this race. Then the next caution lap would come out on lap 55 for Chris Bryant, who spun into turn number 2, bringing out the yellow in this race. Then a couple laps later, went back green with Ben Rhodes leading the field from the outside and Ty Majeski on the inside, and we saw Ben Rhodes able to get the race lead, keep the lead. Meanwhile, we saw Buddy Kofoid really start driving up to the front. He was one of the fastest trucks in the middle portion of this race, of course, making his truck series debut, and he started driving up to the front. Then it really became a battle between Ty Majeski and Ben Rhodes. Ty Majeski's truck was actually faster, but there was really nowhere to go for Ty Majeski to make the pass. And then we saw some contact between Joey Logano and John Hunter Nemechek, and John Hunter Nemechek was able to basically get the lead of the guys when they were going to come to the start of stage 3. And coming off the corner of stage number 2, though, Ben Rhodes will hold up a hard-charging Ty Majeski to win stage number 2 here at Bristol Dirt. Some trucks decided to stay out while some came down pit road. John Hunter, Parker Kligerman, Buddy Kofoid, Carson Osbar, Chandler Smith, Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes among those who decided to stay out, while the rest of the field decided to come down pit road. Then on the restart, John Hunter Nemechek leave the field from the outside with Parker Kligerman on the inside, and we saw Carson Osbar, who restarted, I believe, 4th at the time. He would come off the corner and actually take the race lead from John Hunter Nemechek. And then one of the most strangest occurrences happened a few laps later between Matt DiBenedetto and Austin Wayne himself. Matt DiBenedetto attempted to perform a slide job, and they literally got stuck together because apparently I think the radiator, the rear bumper got stuck in the radiator of Austin Wayne himself, and they literally got stuck together. I've seen some things in my time, and I've never seen in a NASCAR Truck Series race or NASCAR race in general, cars get sucked together. That's never happened before, so that was absolutely insane because of that. Because of that, they also had to put a red flag out to not waste any time, and that would be the red flag would come out. And then on the restart with 45 laps to go, you had Carson Hocevar lead the field to the green from the outside with John Hunter on the inside. And we see Carson Hocevar keep the lead and lead the next portion. Then a few laps later, the next caution of this race would come out at lap 112 for Keith McGee, who spun out in turn number 2, bringing out the caution. We then go back racing at lap 118 with Carson leading the field from the outside with John Hunter on the inside, and Carson was able to get the lead. They started him and John Hunter started battling for the lead, and then with 26 laps to go, Chandler Smith was spin from 10th position after some contact from Christian Eckes. This would bring out the caution with 26 laps to go. And then on the restart with 18 laps to go, you had Carson Hocevar lead the field to the green from the outside with John Hunter on the inside. And we saw a really good battle between Carson Hocevar and Johnny Nemechek once again for the lead. The two that were battling late in this race. Meanwhile, with 12 laps to go, I believe the final yellows race would come out with Buddy Kofi spinning from 4th position after basically battling hard for Ben Rhodes. Buddy would just lose it going into turn number 2, and unfortunately, Ty Majeski was also get collected, and Buddy Kofi would not gotten damaged, but Derek Kraus decided to pile right into him. Really, really unfortunate for Buddy Kofi in his debut. He just really lost it. It was just a mistake on his part, which is really, really frustrating to see. Then we go back racing with 5 laps to go in this race, with Carson Hocevar leading the field to the green from the outside with John Hunter Nemechek on the inside, and Ben Rhodes started really, really charging. Ben Rhodes started getting to the outside of him for the race, trying to get to the race lead, and Ben Rhodes would clear Carson Hocevar. Carson Hocevar in the final few laps really tried to catch Ben Rhodes. It would not be enough, though, and coming off the corner, Ben Rhodes with the best truck sweeps the whole entire race and comes off the corner and picks up his first win of the 2022 season here at Bristol Dirt. Meanwhile, there was a 3-car crash that happened right after the race between Mark Marler, Andrew Gordon, Buddy Cohen, and Caswell, who crashed at the finish line of this race at the end. But Ben Rhodes would win this race. Ben Rhodes, in my opinion, absolutely deserves this victory. He had the best truck, in my opinion. He led nearly 100 laps of this race. Yes, he had a battle back and made that mistake, but he bounced back from that mistake and comes home with the victory. Absolutely well-deserved victory. Congratulations to Ben Rhodes. First win, I think, of a couple that I think he gets this year. I think it's almost time to consider, is he ready for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, because he's getting up there in age. Well, he's only 24, 25 years old. And I think that it's time for him to make that jump up to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I really think it's time for that. So now, though, let's go ahead and jump into the results of the race, and I'll tell you my score of today's race. So Ben Rhodes picks up the victory. Carson Hocevar finished second. I really want Carson to win a race really, really bad. I think the win is coming for him. I think he's going to start clicking out some wins here in the near future, but gets a very strong second-place finish here at Bristol Dirt. John Hunter finished his third. A great run for John Hunter tonight. Ran top 5 pretty much all race long. Had to start 19th in this race with the heats and still got up a top 5 finish. Really good run from John Hunter. He finished his third. Parker Kligerman finished his fourth. Parker definitely, once again, proving he deserves a better ride than he has. Ran top 5 pretty much all night long. Had a really, really fun truck. Great to see when Parker's in this series and gets a really strong top 5. Good run for him. He finishes at 4th. Christian Eckes finished his very solid top 5 run. Really wasn't as big a third as he thought he was going to be, but he gets a very solid top 5 finish. Joey Logano finished 6th. Logano's truck after that contact late in stage 2, I think really affected the truck. And he still had a good truck, ran top 5 most of the night, but they decided to pit during after stage 2. I think really cost him an opportunity, but he still gets solid top 10 finish. Chase Elliott finished the 7th, the worst I think I've seen the 7 perform really all year so far. Chase did have a decent truck, probably top 5 truck, but those cautions really weren't helping. But gets solid 7th place finish. Good run from Chase Elliott here with Spire Motorsports. Grant Enfinger finished safe. I think this is the best run that Grant Enfinger really has had this year. He's not had a good year so far in the truck series. A very disappointing year for his standards. But he gets a very solid top 10 run. Truck kind of fell up as the race progressed, but does get a very solid top 10 finish. Matt Crafton finished 9th. Very solid top 10 run for Matt Crafton. And Zane Smith, probably with his worst performance of the year, finishes still in the top 10. The fact that his worst performance of the year is the top 10 is really, really good. Stuart Friesen finished 11th. I'm going to admit I'm really disappointed in Stuart Friesen. I thought Stuart was going to be more of a factor in this race. And it seemed like just like last year's truck really fell off. But he does get a top 15. But man, you kind of expected Stuart to run a lot better in this race. Colby Howard finishes 12th. Colby Howard really was impressive throughout the weekend. He ran top 20 most of the weekend, and he really needed this good run too, so glad to see that Colby got a top 15. Chase Purdy finished his 13th. Solid run for Chase Purdy. Never really mentioned him about that too much. You expect him to run better, and this is really the first time this year that he's outperformed Tyler Ingram. So good run from Chase Purdy in 13th. Austin Dillon finishes 14th. I expected Dillon to be more of a factor in this race, not going to lie. I know it's Young's Motorsports truck, but I thought it was going to be more of a factor. But he does get a very solid top 15. He finishes in 14th. Tanner Gray finishes 15th, 16th place for Team Thompson, 17th for Mike Mars despite wrecking. Haley Deegan finished 18th. I expected more out of her tonight, but hey, another solid top 20 run. She should be near the top 30 in points right now, so she still does get a top 20, but you kind of expect more from her. Chandler Smith bounced back to 19th place finish. Harris Saberno, I expected more from as well in his return to the Truck Series. He finishes in 20th. Ty Majeski, after his issues late, finishes in 21st. 22nd for Jack Wood. 23rd for Timmy Hill. 24th for Spencer Boyd. 25th for Blaine Perkins. 26th place finisher Kaz Grawl. 27th, Buddy Kofoid in his Truck Series debut. Tough break for him. Tate Fulgham finishes 28th. 29th for Derek Krause. 30th for Lawless Allen. 31st for Tyler Ankrum. I don't know what really happened to Ankrum. He just ran horrendously in this race. Andrew Gordon finishes 32nd. 33rd for Chris Wright, 34th for Keith McGee, 35th for Matty D after his issues, and Austin Wayne himself finishes last in 36th place. So now let's talk about the overall race as a whole and give you my score of today's race. I thought this race really was a good race. Yes, Ben Rhodes led a ton of laps in this race, but despite that he dominated, I really did enjoy this race. It felt like one of those races where, you know, a dirt race, and this was so much better than last year's Truck Series race at Bristol. In my opinion, there was multiple lanes of racing. You can get around the top line. You can get around the bottom line. It felt like a very traditional Truck Series dirt race that we've seen in the past. And like I said, I really, really enjoyed it. And it was really fun to watch the racing overall as a whole. And I think Ben Rhodes' truck was just so dominant in this race, it was really going to be tough to beat him. And I really enjoyed this race as well. So for my score of tonight's truck race, I'm going to give it overall an 8 point. I'm going to have to give it a 9 out of 10. There are points where I felt like it could have been a little bit better, but it's still a very solid truck race. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Before I do go, though, I want to talk about a couple other things. Number one, Fox's truck coverage. Not the worst I've seen this year, but a commercial with 13 laps to go at Bristol Dirt. Really? Are you serious? You came back from a commercial and you go to another one. That's absolutely unacceptable at Bristol Dirt. You literally could finish the race during commercial. I know it was side by side, but come on. Absolutely absurd, Fox. Come on. Also, how many times you got to mention cookies? Come on. In all seriousness and all honesty, there. Also, I do feel like the truck race tonight could have been a little bit longer. I think 150 laps is too short. Or, the simple thing is, we do not need to have cautions during dirt races, especially during caution laps there. Now, one thing I'm glad they decided to do is they decided to not have cautions during the stage breaks. I'm really glad about that. But in all seriousness, that is something that absolutely needs to change. Is cautions should not be a thing during cautions when we have a situation when it's not stages. But that's my opinion on that. So anyway, that is my race view for the dirt race at Dirt Bristol for the Truck Series. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notification on so you're notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on page as well. List description below over that. Comment your thoughts on today's race. What are your thoughts on tonight's race? Let me know below. Let me know your scored comments below, and comment your thoughts below as well. And congratulate Ben Rhodes on picking up the victory. Tomorrow night, we've got the NASCAR Cup Series race from Bristol Dirt that we're going to do a review. And then Monday, we're going to have a news video and react to that major North Wilkesboro news that happened with a couple other news stories we'll discuss as well that you should check out. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. And I'll see you guys next time with some more great, awesome NASCAR and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.